Alright guys, we are back with some more Monster Energy Supercross 5. Today we have the 2022 Seattle replica. This is our first replica in Supercross 5, and it came out pretty darn good. It has a monster quad section right off the start, and the rest of the track has just this pretty good flow to it. So let's jump into it and check out 2022 Seattle. Okay, so our first track in Supercross 5 as far as the replicas go, and this would be 2022 Seattle, and it came out pretty awesome. So we actually quad this first rhythm section, and there is different ways you can hit it. I actually didn't build that rhythm section to be a quad. It was supposed to be like step on, step off, triple quad. I'm not sure how it would come out, but that's how it was meant to be hit. But after I tried it, I saw that we could just have a quad all the way through that section and decided, you know what? It's a video game. Let's do it. So we dropped the quad. The rest of the track is pretty basic. Nothing too crazy about it, but then we go back down the start straight and veer off to the right for a double triple. And this section should be in line with the first turn, but the way we built the track, it just kind of it's a bit different. We kind of had to fit it in. But we hit this quad a few times. It is very difficult. The first quad in isn't so bad getting over the table, but the third quad can be tough. The middle quad you can actually over jump pretty easy, and then it kind of throws you off for jumping out. But the track came out pretty awesome in my opinion. I feel like we've been doing a pretty good job at making these replicas, and you know, who's to say there won't be a quad? There's been a bunch of quads. I believe Indy had 2. They were quadding over the step on, step off after the finish line and after the whoop section. That Indy track was crazy. It actually provided really good racing, and we'll talk about that here in a bit. But one thing I kind of want to talk about with the track editor, since the game is new, is, okay, first of all, the AI is bad. You can see here the AI is just awful, terrible, and we do have some first person at the very end, so if you want to see that, just stick around, and we do show you a pretty solid lap in first person. Surprisingly, we were able to get through this AI without, you know, crashing into them. They're just so bad, man. They're so bad. They're so good on the official tracks, but when you get them on the custom tracks, it's like, holy moly, they're bad. But yeah, the track editor, also the whoops, I feel like the whoops in this year's game are a bit tougher. It feels like, you know, in past games, you could just fly over those things, and you can in this game too, but if you use the big whoop, it is tougher, okay? It definitely feels like they are tougher, and the tracks, it kind of feels like the tracks are slippery, you know, more slippery than they have been in past games. I find myself kind of getting pushed over the corner or yanked off the track, and it just feels like the traction on the custom tracks isn't as good as it has been in the past, right? So just my opinion, maybe you don't feel that way, but I just think they feel kind of weird. But I do want to talk about the race a bit. Indy, what happened? Lawrence and Tomac ended up winning. McAdoo and Lawrence had a really good battle for most of the race. I think McAdoo said he ended up getting a bit of arm pump. He said he was tightening up a bit, and he messed up the rhythm section after the whoops a few too many times. But yeah, Jet Lawrence put on a crazy night of racing. He went down in the first turn in the heat race, came back to win. I was kind of bummed. I felt like Kyle Chisholm was maybe going to get the heat race win, which would have been so cool, especially after getting that Star Racing Yamaha ride, but it didn't happen, and Lawrence ended up winning. And then the main event was, like I said, it was a really good race between McAdoo and Lawrence, and the 250 or the 450s was equally as good. Barsha led a majority of the race, and he ended up taking out Anderson. It kind of didn't feel like it was on purpose. I mean, Anderson went wide, and Barsha went tight in the corner after the Supercross triple, and they just kind of collided. It was kind of funny because Bogle rode by and was kind of like checking it out, like, hey, Barsha took him out. Hey, everybody over here, Barsha took him out. But it was kind of funny. I think the leaders ended up lapping up to like 6th place. They did end up lapping, I believe, Dean Wilson in 7th. So, whoa. There was a few guys that were like 3 or 4 laps down. That is insane. The speed the top guys were having on that track is unbelievable. I mean, that is crazy. But Tomac ended up getting by Barsha, but then he even said it on the podium. He said he kind of tried giving that race away. He messed up a bunch and didn't do the double after the section after the whoops. I don't know how to say that. The double, triple before the wall. He didn't do the double going in, and Barsha got really close. And Barsha had a great race, actually, but they did end up placing a fine for $3,000, I believe, and docked him 3 points. So for the takeout on Anderson, which, I mean, I don't know. I think he's still on probation, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like Jason Anderson. I am actually a pretty big fan of him, but he's been doing that all year, right? So he shouldn't have went wide, and he's been doing it, so why punish Barsha? But if he still is under or on probation for the Bogle thing, maybe that's why. I feel like that's probably why, but I'm not really sure about it. So, yeah, we're pretty close to the end of the race. We do have, again, a first-person lap, because first-person in this game I feel like is even better. The only part I don't really care for is... or not care for, but I wish we had the option, was to have a FOV slider for first person. I do wish we could pull the camera back a tiny bit, but it's still really good. I know it's replay, but I ended up being happy with the race we had here, so we just had replay to get some first person in. It looks pretty much the same as it would if we were to be playing it, actually, and this way the laps look a lot better, right? Because we're better in third person than we are in first person. So you guys and girls are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support on the channel lately. It really does mean a lot, and until the next video, take it easy.